Warren Moon was a Pro Bowler 9 times, would have been more, of course, but the Hall of Famer had to go to the Canadian route first, of which he was a 5-time Grey Cup champion and the greatest player in CFL history, and now a Pro Football Hall of Famer is joining us live. So, I say this, I've told you this before, that you were the first great quarterback I saw. I can remember the grainy footage at Husky Stadium. You played the Cougars, driving rainstorm, and you ran around. And it was rare. Like, people did not do that. Husky quarterbacks did not do that. But you weren't running back guy. You were a big guy. You're 6'4". So when you were coming up, take my audience to this. It's 1976, and you're down playing in Los Angeles, and you're a runaround guy. And you probably heard nothing but, well, you can't do that. What was it like being one of the first highly athletic mobile quarterbacks?
It was something that I always cherished, but it was something that was almost like a curse because you got victimized for being a good athlete. They wanted to put you somewhere else, put you in another position, because quarterbacks during that time weren't considered great athletes. They were guys that were going to stand in the pocket and throw the football, and they never were going to move around very much. But I was a guy who could throw the football. That was my strength. But I also had athletic ability enough to move around and be able to do other things. So you got penalized a lot for that because you were too good an athlete.
It's interesting. Russell runs basically when something doesn't work offensively. Kyler runs because that's what they're going to do. Would you be worried at all about his size and the number of times Kyler does run with the intent of scoring and picking up yards?
I worry about all these young guys who have that athletic ability like Kyler or like a Lamar Jackson because they run the football so much. It's just a matter of time before they take that one big hit. And you saw Kyler the other night, take a big hit on his shoulder, and it probably bothered him the rest of the game. And who knows how serious that injury is. So it's just a matter of time if you have that ball in your hands too much and too long as a quarterback that the defense is going to get to you.
So one of the biggest games of the week, of course, is Tom Brady against the LA Rams. And the good thing with experience, there's certain things. Oral Hershiser was a different pitcher later than early. Obviously, he had a surgery. But let's talk Tom Brady. Give me one or two things in your career, your last couple of years, that you still felt you were better at than you were even in your prime.
I think anticipation, that's something that I thought I was good at as I got older, because you start to lose some of the sting on your fastball, and you just understand defenses and coverages so much better. You know where the windows are going to be, and that anticipation allows that ball to get in that window when it's supposed to, because you lose a little bit of your athleticism, you lose a little bit of the velocity on your ball, but the anticipation kind of makes up for it. So that was something I really got better at. And just recognizing defenses, I kind of knew what people were going to be in as I walked up to the football. And I was very rarely fooled as I got later in my career.
Tom's got so many weapons right now. He's got 2 good backs, 2 good tight ends, 3 good receivers, actually 4. And I've said that I always feel like if I was a quarterback, I would want to make people happy. I would want everybody to feel included in it. Probably that's why I wouldn't be a good quarterback. Did you ever have a team, Warren, where you felt a little bit of pressure that, okay, I've got a Pro Bowl tight end, I've got to get him 8 targets? Did you ever feel that?
Well, when I played in Houston in the run and shoot, we had 4 wide receivers every down. And I had Haywood Jeffries, I had Ernest Givens, I had Drew Hill, I had Curtis Duncan. One year, 3 of those guys made the Pro Bowl with me because I distributed the ball pretty evenly to all those guys, and they were all very successful. And that's what you have to do when you have a lot of different weapons. You have to keep all those guys happy somehow, some way, and they all have different personalities. So there might be a guy that you have to get the ball too early in a ball game to keep him going, and somebody else might not have to see the football until the third quarter, and he's going to be fine. He's still going to run his routes hard. So you just have to understand who your players are, but they're all talented, and you just want to make sure they all get the football because they can all help your team.
When you look at all, I want you to go, I've asked Drew Bledsoe this before. So these kids now, Warren, they get 10,000 snaps by the time they're in 8th grade. They're in camps. So, and you guys didn't. You didn't have the 7-on-7s. So go back to your high school career. Because I watched Joe Burrow and I watched Justin Herbert. These kids, They've all been in these camps in Oregon and L.A. They come into this league, they got 100,000 snaps. How many snaps do you think you had by the time you got to college football?
I don't know a number, but we did have a passing league that I participated in every year, my last couple of years of high school, but it was nothing compared to what these kids are doing these days. Football is almost a year-round sport now for quarterbacks and receivers because these passing leagues are going on all year, all spring. They also have much better coaching because they have individual coaching at a very young age, and they're just getting much more snaps at it. Like you said, in these camps and also going through high school and college, they're all running the same offenses. Now you see the NFL is adapted to this, and that's why these kids are having so much success coming in early is because they're doing the same thing in the NFL now that they've been doing since they were in junior high school.
Of all the young quarterbacks, Burrow, Tua, Kyler, Lamar Jackson, is there one or two? I mean, what are your thoughts on all? Is there one or two that you really like?
Man, there's so many good young quarterbacks in this league right now, Colin. It doesn't really matter if it's this new group that just came in with Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow or also Tua, but you also can look at Lamar Jackson. You look at Patrick Mahomes. You look at I can go on and on and on. Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray. There's just so many good young quarterbacks. So the league is very, very healthy in that regard right now. And these guys are going to be around for a long time, and they're going to break a lot of records.
By the way, I think Jon Gruden's my coach of the year. They didn't have a preseason. He had to move his franchise to a new city. They've had 2 COVID outbreaks. And he, by the way, Derek Carr, before Gruden got there, was a mid-80 quarterback rating. He had like 22 TDs, 13 picks. So obviously Gruden has absolutely helped Derek Carr, who I think is a good talent. I don't think he's a world-class talent. Go back to your career. Was there a coach that you absolutely believed made you a better quarterback at any point in your career?
Well, I had a couple. I think June Jones really helped me when he came to Houston as my quarterback coach. And then Kevin Gilbride came in right after him and took over as offensive coordinator. And my career really took off with these 2 guys. And, you look at the job that Mike Mayock and also Jon Gruden have done in Oakland here over the last 2 or 3 years. They've had some really strong drafts. They're drafting guys from successful college programs that are high character guys. And now they've got some big time weapons on the outside for Derek Carr to be able to throw the football to in Henry Ruggs and Nelson Aguilar. And that's the difference, I think, in Derek Carr this year. He's pushing the ball down the field. He's getting the big plays where he always was just pretty much a middle range passer up until this season. Now he's getting the big play possibilities, and that's what's taking his game to another level.
It's funny. Eric Mangini said to me when I was talking earlier today about Russell against Kyler Murray, he goes, the thing is, you'll run around in the league, and then you get a big contract. And he goes, guys don't want to get hit as much. It's no fun when you get hit. And I laugh at that, but I think to myself, go back to your first big contract. I don't blame you at all. Was it more like, I'm a slide now. I'm a take. Does it change a little when you get the bankroll finally?
Well, when I came into the league, I was the highest paid player. So I felt like I had something to prove when I came in. So I kind of did a little bit of everything, but I was running down the sideline one time into my probably second or third season in Houston and trying to get some extra yards and should have ran out of bounds. And Donnie Shell, who just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, great Pittsburgh Steelers strong safety, he hit me on my hip. And I tell you what, it was the most painful burning sensation I've ever felt playing football. And that day told me, okay, I'm going to start being a distributor now. That guy named Magic Johnson, I want to be just like him as a football player. Let me get the ball to the guys who are used to taking those type of hits.
Yeah, those Pittsburgh Steelers teams could deliver a few blows, including Donnie Shell. I remember that well. Warren, it's great seeing you again.
Always great talking to you, Colin. Take care, my man.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.